Last time on Astro's Dev Log. The devlog returned as AstroDrifter shared a collection of minor projects, personal developments, and the last of 2025's Project 256 updates. Astro then revealed his ambitious goal to finish Project 256 this year. Armed with a plan to make this a reality, he set out to re-immerse himself in Project 256 and C#. In February, Astro chose not to post a devlog, and instead opted for a video about real good AI and the real rating system. This month, it's finally time to check in and see where Astro's efforts have landed him. Sit back and enjoy. It's time for the next exciting entry of...
Let's do some contact with a test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3.
Choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other thing. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
This is a new and strange environment first. This suddenly finding yourself in orbit.
You got speed, John Glenn.
All right, lift off and the clock has started. Yes, sir. Reading it loud and clear.
Computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions. Discovery Houston, I got a good picture of Steve. Discovery Houston, going throttle.
Three, two, one, zero.
Ooh, rough landing, huh? You hate to see it. You know, I actually fell down here myself while looking for a way out of this place. But, hey, it's good to see you. Just in case you have any sort of, brain damage after that fall, my name is Astro-Drifter, and I missed you last month. Sorry about that. I got sick really early on, and after that I didn't really have anything to show you. However, that didn't stop me from making last month's Real Good AI video, which I'm really glad I did because I haven't seen a lot of people talking about them, and I think it's super important that people support them. Which, by the way, if you haven't seen the video yet, you should go watch it.
Please put me down.
Right now. I mean it. I know you're a little busy, but still. And you know what? Even if you have seen it, go watch it again. They, and I, really need the support. But enough about AI and the fall of society, because I've got updates. And from the looks of it, not a lot of time to share them. So let's get to it. Alright, so, a lot of things have happened since January. Even though I was sick in February, I managed to get quite a lot done. Although the thing is, most of what I did was super boring. Unless file organizing and project planning are super thrilling to you, last month was pretty slow. What you need to know from last month is that I'm using the real rating system from Real Good AI in all of my content from now on. I created a giant to-do list for Project 256, and I've established some loose deadlines for specific parts of the project. Oh, and also, thanks to a humble little indie film known as Iron Lung, Project 256 has actual lore now. Markiplier's film and the actual game really inspired me, so I decided to flesh out the universe of Project 256. Before, there was a really loose story behind 256 that was really only there to justify the gameplay, but now I've completely overhauled everything. It's completely changed. Even the name is different now. Instead of Station 256, now it's 256. Oh right. Sorry, I'm not supposed to tell you anything. You see, in order to keep this project exciting, I decided the less you know, the better. So I'm going to be keeping things under wraps in the hopes that when you finally get to play this thing, you'll be in for a few surprises. That said, if I've already talked about something in a previous log and it hasn't changed, I won't hide it. You know, like those and the or the wait, no. Sorry, those are all different now. Well, I guess you'll just have to embrace your inner Sherlock Holmes and pay close attention to the things that are and aren't redacted as we move forward. Anyways, let's talk visuals, specifically about the environment. And then the HUD. On my long, ever-growing to-do list, the first thing I decided to tackle was what remained of the hallways. I finished most of the work last fall, but there are still some minor details that I haven't gotten to yet. I started finishing off the guardrails. These guys, right here. Evidently, I didn't manage to add them to all of the hallway pieces beforehand, so I figured that was an easy place to start. Within a few days, I had these ironed out. And then I decided to have some fun with lighting and fog in Blender. You know, it's a shame I can't get Unity to look this good. Yet. After that, I started drafting some greebles that I could add to the environment. And if you don't know what a greeble is, here. Here, there you go. That's a greeble. Meanwhile, I also decided to revisit the HUD. I know. This is technically breaking my first rule. But I found that the HUD from September just didn't look right anymore. And to be fair, the graphics that I had planned on replacing these with really weren't supposed to be a lot of work. It was supposed to be as simple as recoloring the shapes and adding in a few new effects. And for the direction plotters, it was that simple. Everything else, though... At the very least, I can show you this. Here is what the HUD looked like last fall. And here is what it looks like now. My God, look at the curves, the grunge, the glass-like translucency. Dear God, it even has holographic indicators. Unfortunately, that is not what it looks like in Unity. This is actually a screen cap from Inkscape. This is from Unity. Why it looks so different is because Unity doesn't have what's called blending modes for 2D sprites. To put it short, a blending mode changes what an image does to the background behind it. And Unity, just straight up, does not have the ability to do that. Most photo editing softwares do, like Photoshop, GIMP, Photopea, Inkscape, and I'm hoping I can find some form of asset or solution to solve this problem. But so far, I haven't had any luck. My next course of action is to get 99% of the hallway visuals complete. That includes the greebles, that includes effects, and any other tiny details that pertain to the environment. That extra 1% is reserved for the lighting because I'm gonna have to come back for that one later on. I also want to have the UI visuals at least 95% complete by June. All of these new designs are great, but if I can't make them work in Unity, I'll have to try something else. Maybe even start over. I actually have some other news unrelated to Project 256. As some of you may know, I have wanted to make these logs shorter for quite a while. So, I have decided to make some adjustments to the structure of my videos, some of which I've actually already tried in this video. Now, all that really means is some sections might get shuffled around, some may get merged, some may even get cut all together. Now, to the casual viewer of these devlogs, that's really not going to make that much of a difference. But for the, shall we say, more legacy viewers, you know who you are out there. Thanks, by the way. You might see some changes, and it's not you. You're not going crazy. Yes, the logs have been moved around just a tad. We'll see how crazy it gets next month. With all that said, I think we should probably bring this one to a close. See, that didn't take so long. I mean, this is probably the longest anyone has stood inside an active incinerator, but I think we both know that the incinerator is the least of our problems. Incinerator or toxic gas aside, before I close this out, I want to take another moment to talk about real good AI. If you are a creator, you should really consider looking into their organization and including the real rating in your content. It's more important than ever that we are actively labeling what has and hasn't been made with AI. Remember, the more of us that do so, the more others will be compelled to do the same. I've left a link to their website in the description, as well as a link to my own video that I'm sure you've already watched that explains how the real rating works. You know what else is in the description? Links to my socials! You can find me on TikTok, where I post short-form content and repost memes, and on Blue Sky, where I post updates and complain about things. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking and subscribing for more. Leave a comment down below if you want to know more about Real Good AI or have feedback about Project 256. Till next time, thanks for watching. This is AstroDrifter, signing off.